Hey everyone, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse. For today's video, I thought I would just do like a little bit of a catch up. I had been doing these videos a bit over the summer, but things got super crazy in August between being out of town and starting a new job, and I had some notes about things to talk about, but that time has sort of passed. So it seems completely irrelevant to talk about the things I was going to talk about then. So I thought I'd talk about some stuff now. So basically, life has been kind of busy. And I have been trying, at the time I'm filming this, I have done 2 vlogs. I think considering them successful would be a subjective thing. So successful in the fact that I did them and posted them. Whether or not they're good, meh, who really knows? But they were fun. I like trying something new. I'm definitely not good at it, but I think gonna keep giving it a go. I don't really have a sense of like how to hold the camera, and like lighting in certain places is bad, and especially at night. I have like this great window here so I get beautiful daylight, but when I've been getting home pretty consistently after 7 o'clock every night, and it just makes for not a lot of time to vlog during the week, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna keep trying. But I did do, I wouldn't even say like book shopping. So I had posted a video about a bunch of books that were out that I wanted to read and was getting you guys to weigh in on things. And at the time I'm filming this, I have yet to buy The Chain, but at the time I probably post this, I think it's a 99.9% chance that I own it. But what I did wind up buying, between the time that I had filmed the video about books I wanted to get and the time I posted it, is I actually did wind up getting The Whisper Man by Alex North, because Amazon, they play such tricks with their pricing, right? And I tend to keep a lot of stuff in my like cart and move it like down below to save for later. And the great thing is every time you go into your cart, Amazon gives you a list of all the price changes, and this had dropped to like 10 and change. So I just bought it because it's a hardcover book, and that's crazy. And there's a whole bunch of books now that were sort of hovering in that price range, I would say, but I feel like to a degree my time has passed on some of them. So it's proof that not triggering, or like not knee-jerk, you know, trigger purchasing is sometimes a good thing, because there's some books which I have read either like through my library or had an arc of them, and like I'm okay not having them in my life, but I do have my eye on some other stuff. But on the off chance / good chance that you missed my video about books I wanted to read, The Whisper Man is kind of pitched as like a thriller / horror, and it is this guy known as the Whisper Man, who apparently would like lure people out of their house by whispering to them and then like murder them. So he was a serial killer, and supposedly he's in prison, but it's a bunch of years later, and this guy and his son kind of move into this town, and there's a young boy vanishes, and it reignites sort of this obsession with the Whisper Man and this chatter that perhaps he had an accomplice. So even though the original Whisper Man is in jail, someone else is killing the way he did. So I have heard since some mixed things on this, which tends to happen, but it's not going to change my mind about reading it because I have it and I'm curious about it. And again, just like the success of my vlogs is subjective, so is the reading of books. So I am going to give this one a go. And then I had mentioned in my vlog for the Testaments, because I was hitting up my Barnes & Noble that day, and I went back down, or I shouldn't say went back down, I started listening to podcasts again. I basically have been like thoroughly off my game between being out of town for a chunk of time and then starting a new job. So I've started to listen to my writer podcasts again, and you know, author stories with Hank Green and writer's routine, and I found some new ones. I want to say one's called like Meet the Thriller Writers or something. I'll write it down below for you guys. But I was starting to listen to these podcasts with Leigh Bardugo, and I had heard about her new book, Ninth House, from, I feel like everybody who went to like BEA and BookCon was raging to get an arc of this book. And I haven't read Six of Crows, or I screwed this up last time. I think I called it Ink and Bone. This is Ink and Bone by Lisa Unger. So maybe it's like Blood and Bone. I still don't even remember the name of the Leigh Bardugo book, but like I was doing like Skin and Bone, which is the Foo Fighters album. I've got this. I can't with the bones. But I haven't read any of her other books, but Ninth House is her first adult fantasy, but it is set in the real world. So it is a student who goes to Yale and gets pulled into sort of the secret societies. And there's some sort of like ghost, I think like paranormal aspect to it. And I don't know a ton about it. It comes out in October. I was wrong. I said November before. But I really enjoy listening to her as an author, and I've talked about this before, and this becomes kind of like my death trap, is I start to like get to know these authors and become somewhat fascinated with them. So I was super curious about Ninth House because I thought, okay, like I love school-ish stories. I am much more a contemporary reader than I am, or I should say like an adult reader than like a YA or new adult, but I've also been dipping more toes in the YA world, and I feel like ever since I read Vicious by V.E. Schwab, my mind has opened up a little bit more because I loved it. So two things. So first up, I just watched Kayla from Books and Lala's review of Ninth House, and I want to say she gave it like 2 stars, and I would love to say that's not going to influence me in any kind of way, but there is a lot of books, or there are a lot of books where Kayla and I feel the same way about, and hearing her give it that kind of a review does give me pause, although she's super clear in it that she's like, this just is not for me, which doesn't mean I'm telling you guys not to read it or that it's bad in any way, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So, grain of salt. And then I was watching somebody else's review of it who was also saying the beginning is kind of like slow and info dumpy, but then this person was giving it a lot of praise, and that was not someone I was familiar with. It just sort of like showed up next to it because it was, I think they were talking about Ninth House, so you know how all those things work. So I'm on the fence. So I'm not gonna like pre-order it like a crazy person, but at the same time, I'm still curious about it. So I'm trying to like not be influenced, but since it's a new to me author and it's like a 500 something page book, I obviously have a curiosity factor about it. So I don't know. But then I was also thinking like maybe I should read Six of Crows. Is that crazy? Am I like, who am I right now? Like what am I doing? But let me know you guys. If any of you have read that, what you think. Am I just being like a total weirdo? I am having that like moderate FOMO. I don't know if I would like it, but it's supposed to be like a heist. Even though it's like sci-fi fantasy, there's like an Ocean's 11 inspiration to it. And I think just listening to Leigh Bardugo talk about her process and her writing in the books and her inspirations is making me super curious about it. And I don't know. So I was on Amazon, and you can get Six of Crows and whatever comes after that. It's a duology for like 20 bucks for these beautiful hardcovers. But like, who am I? What am I doing? So let me know what you guys think about that. I'm taking a breath right now and hitting pause. But super curious about her. Jotted down some great writing advice from her too, which I also love. And then I also am super excited because I got the ARC for Good Girls Lie, J.T. Ellison. This comes out in December, Good Girls Lie. And this is also, this is a boarding school book, which is another thing that you guys know that I love. And I enjoy J.T. Ellison. I got to see her at Thriller Fest this year. Here we go again. I enjoy listening to her on podcasts. I just find her very inspirational. I like her. I like this book. It sounds good to me. So it's a prep school, boarding school in Virginia. I'm just going to read a snippet about it. So it says, in a world where appearances are everything, as long as the students pretend to follow the rules, no one questions the cruelties of the secret societies or the dubious behavior of the privileged young women who expect to get away with murder. But when a popular student is found dead, the truth cannot be ignored. Rumors suggest she was struggling with a secret that drove her to suicide. But look closely, because there are truths and there are lies, and then there is everything that really happened. Very excited about this. So like I said, this comes out December 30th, actually. So I am going to read it before then, I will keep you guys posted on what I think, but I'm very excited to get an arc of that. So thank you, NetGalley, for that one. And that's it for new books in. I just wanted to try and take a break from buying. I resisted the book outlet sale. They just keep these emails. I just like delete. And I resisted like a lot of these like ebook deals because I was starting to buy them like it was nothing. So I'm taking a little bit of a break. I'm trying to just read some stuff off my shelf. I just filmed my video for Contemporary-a-thon with the exception of one book, which I got out of my library. Everything on my list is something I own. And I might even do a video. There are all these books that I've talked about this year that I want to read, but there are definitely a handful of books that I want to read before the end of this year. And I need to like consciously make space for them instead of picking up new things. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that video. I have to say, I have not been watching a ton of television, and I've had a very hard time connecting with like any TV shows. So I feel like when last we spoke in this type of video, I definitely had started, I want to say, Veronica Mars, or it was about to come on. Season 4, which is on Hulu, which is like an 8-part miniseries. The show ended at least 10 years ago. Since awful, I don't even remember. Maybe it ended in like 2007 or 8. Then they made that movie, and then they came back with this TV show, and I feel like I'm still reeling from the show. I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. I will say it was well done. I'm so glad they brought it back. The thing that I love about the movie that they did, probably like circa 2014 maybe that movie came out, and this is that so many of the original actors and characters came back for it, and I love that. And to me that just says a ton about the cast themselves, about Rob Marshall, who created it, and people wanting to come together and to continue to like revisit these characters. Ooh, there's like something flying. So I was super happy about that. There were a few people who didn't come back, but like I was super sad. Not a spoiler, Mac is not in it. Who I loved. She's such a good character. She was in the movie, but she doesn't come back for this mini series. And then I'm trying to think who else. I feel like there wasn't enough Wallace in it for my personal taste, but I know you can only kind of do so much with things. But I've talked about this before. Veronica and her dad Keith is my favorite father-daughter relationship. I love them together. I love the actors together. I love the chemistry between them. I love these characters. I love seeing them, Veronica as an adult, and she's always sort of had that like old soul adult vibe to her, but now that she's like legit an adult, and they are still working together at Mars Investigations, and I just absolutely love the two of them together. So great, so great. And in this mystery, it's basically like Neptune, where they live, is like a spring break destination, and someone is kind of like trying to sabotage spring break, and there's a series of bombs that go off. So Veronica and her dad get hired to investigate it, and all the police stuff and all that, and you've got all the personal relationships and everything. So I'm very excited at the prospect of a season 5, but there were definitely things that happened in this that make me very sad and very mad at Rob Marshall. And I understand, again, there are always things that serve a story, but I would say I don't agree with all the choices he made in this story. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But there is also some good music in this. So I also picked up like some good tunes, and I just love Kristen Bell. I just think she was born to play this part on top of so many others, but she's just the embodiment of Veronica, and I love her. So if you guys are Veronica Mars fans and haven't watched it, watch it. You could certainly get into it if you hadn't watched the rest of the show, but a lot of the nuances will be lost on you, and some of the Easter eggs will be lost on you. And I think like the relationships between the characters won't make it, they completely make sense, but they won't make as much sense, I would say. So I'm a purist, watch it from the beginning. It's all on Hulu. You can't go wrong with this show. It's so good. So what I did just start watching, and I felt like just like with books, like if like you need to be in the mood for certain shows and things like that. And I definitely like took a hiatus and did like a major US Open sidebar and watched all of it. And I feel like I haven't talked about this here, but like, can we take 5 seconds to talk about Meghan Markle coming to the US Open to watch Serena Williams eventually lose, but to watch her friend play? I just love me some Meghan Markle. I think she's great. I think she's great. But I finally felt like I was in a place to start watching one of the many shows that are filling up my Netflix and Hulu queues, which are all super heavy shows. But I just started watching season 3 of 13 Reasons Why. And I am someone who, I know this is like a super controversial book and TV show and everything. I read the book before I watched the show. I think it's very well done. It is incredibly heavy. It is triggers for everything. Sexual assault, suicide, school shootings, bullying, alcohol abuse, so many things. So many triggers in this show. But I think it is very well done. I think a lot of the controversy with season 1 is it was viewed as like glorifying the suicide. They changed how Hannah committed suicide. So let me back it up. The premise of this is the book by Jay Asher, which came out maybe like 10 years ago now at this stage of the game. This girl, Hannah, commits suicide, and she winds up leaving 13 audio tapes explaining why she killed herself. And each tape is about a person who contributed to why, basically. And in the book, it is the turn of, so basically what you're supposed to do is listen to all the tapes and then pass them on to the next person. So they are in the hands of this guy Clay, who Hannah worked with and who she obviously went to school with. And in the book, we see everything through Clay's perspective, listening to the tapes. He listens to them like in a 24-hour time frame. In the TV show, it's all drawn out. We get everybody's different perspective. There's different the parents are in it, which you don't really see her parents in the book. And it's a much more dramatic suicide, and it's a scene that is shown in the show. At this stage, they might have edited it out because there was a lot of backlash against it. And then season 2 was just a continuation and a whole new storyline, and season 3 is the same, whole new storyline. So it's definitely very dark and very heavy material, but I kind of feel like it is, you know, like some other like hard books that I've talked about. Like, I don't want to say like I enjoy it in the sense that it's enjoyable content, but I think it's important content. There are a lot of things that are really difficult to watch. You really need to just take some caution with the show. So I have watched, I'm going to say like 2.5 episodes of season 3. This definitely is a different turn than the first 2 seasons. This is more of a murder mystery around one of the characters. So I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm enjoying it so far, but it's definitely one for small doses. I did finish The Testaments, which I'm so excited about. So I am going to get into season 3 of the Hulu show of The Handmaid's Tale now. The show has nothing to do with The Testaments. The 2nd and 3rd season, beyond the original book, The Handmaid's Tale, are completely independent of The Testaments. There is no crossover there, so there will be no spoilers one way or the other, but I'm curious to see what they do in season 3 of that show. And then I just got a thing from Netflix. I want to say it's called Permission. Sorry, I had to look it up. It's called Unbelievable. And it is an 8-part miniseries inspired by true events. And it says, after a young woman is accused of lying about a rape, 2 female detectives investigate a spat of eerily similar attacks. Toni Collette is in it, who I love. She's such a great actress. So I'm curious about this. Again, super heavy content and material. So I will see when I decide to pick this one up, but it's getting some positive reviews on it. So I'm curious, and sort of, you know, like I like dark books, I do like dark TV. And then in terms of writing, I feel like it's like the trifecta for me. It's like reading, writing, watching television. It's my creative triangle here. I got the email to register for Thriller Fest for 2020. So that's insane that that is already out. But if anyone is interested in going to Thriller Fest, you can register now for 2020, and all the guests, spotlight guests, all that good stuff is up on their website. And as with any conference, the earlier you register, the cheaper it is. So you can lock in your rates now. I'll leave their website down below if you're interested. And then I also got some emails from NaNoWriMo. So for those of you who may or may not know, November is National Novel Writing Month, and it's a nonprofit organization that encourages writers of all all genres, all expertise, whether you're a beginner or you are a published author. The goal is to write 50,000 words in 30 days. It is such an incredible experience. It is such an amazing thing to give a go to. If you haven't tried it and you're a writer, I absolutely recommend it. Whether you wind up writing 5,000 words or 50 or 80,000, it's great to commit to yourself, commit to your craft. The whole idea is to get you writing every day. They have this incredible website, and you can measure how much you're writing every day, and you can engage with other people, and depending on where you live, they do write-ins where you can go to physical locations and sit around with other writers and write. You can do virtual write-ins where people are logging in at the same time and committing to write. But the whole idea is that you are starting a new project and giving it your all, and it is incredible fun. I will link their website down below too. You can also donate to them. You can get some sort of gifts for your money. You can opt out of it and have all your money go to NaNoWriMo, and it supports writing activities in classrooms and children writing, and just getting pens and pencils into people's hands, and just supporting the arts, supporting creativity, and supporting the writing community. So it is a great, great organization, and like I said, it's a great sort of thing to do personally, and I love doing it, and I'm excited for it. And I may actually prepare this year instead of just opening my computer on November 1st and starting to write. I might actually plan ahead a little bit this year and see what I can see if I can be productive with it. And then I also need to get back to my own writing project, which has suffered completely because I haven't prioritized it because I'm a horrible human being. But I will say I had like a little bit of an aha moment, maybe like a week or so ago, and I had an idea about how to do something in my book that I shudder to say I think might make it better, but I think it's a kind of good idea. So that feels a little bit bold to say, but I need to get back to it because I have been so all talk for months, since like before I went to California, and it's pathetic. So getting back to writing is huge. So that's kind of it for me, which seems kind of lame, right? I just in the throes of the new job. It's nuts. I hate being the new girl, but like I'm doing it and trying to get the commute legs back under me. Like I said, the upside is it's built-in reading time, and I'm trying to have a very namaste, perspective on all of that, even though it is crowded and the trains are messed up and it can be a bit of a drag some days. But I am back to reading Before She Knew Him by Peter Swanson. I had put it on hold when the Testaments came. I am like 75% into the book. I'm going to reserve like full opinion until I'm done, but I won't say I'm having a hard time with it, because that's not the case, but like I don't know where it's going, and I don't quite, not that none of his books are formulaic, but I feel like The Kind Worth Killing, I was like instantly sucked into it, and Her Every Fear, God, my brain is a mess. I was pulled in from the beginning, and I had a sense of pace and rhythm to it. But this book is definitely like throwing me a little bit for a curve, because I'm not sure where it's going and I'm not sure what's happening, but I also feel like it's good because I'm not quite sure. And I had mentioned this with the Hank Phillip P. Bryan book I read also. I feel like I'm a little bit off kilter with it, and I kind of feel like that's part of the point. But I also struggle with that. So there's like a part of me that likes to like know what's happening and like have a rhythm for things. And when I'm not quite sure where I'm going or what's happening or sort of how things are connecting, I get a little bit off. So I'm not quite sure, but stay tuned for a full review. I am liking it. I'm just a little bit something with it right now. So how's that for a crap description on a book? But I will keep you guys posted on that. I will keep you guys posted on other stuff that's happening. I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. This was super rambly and weird. So if it's kind of like choppy and messed up, I'll do better next time, I swear. But thanks for watching and hanging out and putting up with the cray. And I will see all of you guys really soon. Bye guys.